Welcome to another Friday pickup video, and this is actually going to be part one of a two-part video. I plan to record a bunch of stuff in one big video. I think I changed my mind. First part is going to be the pickup video, some games and non-gamer related stuff I found. Part two is going to be an update on what's going on with the game room. If you guys follow me on Facebook, you'll have seen a number of posts where these shelves, even though they look very similar to when they were over there, are now over here, and then the games, which used to be right where these shelves are where these shelves used to be. And my desk is way off over in the corner. I'm actually standing right now right where my desk used to be, and the desk is over by the ping pong table. So anyway, that video will be about that. It'll also be about the Midwest Gaming Classic, which comes up next Friday, and I will be attending along with a number of other YouTubers. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Also, I might talk a little bit, we'll see how I feel after I'm done recording this, about how I feel about collecting now that my entire 32X, most of my Sega Master System, and 3/4, I guess I'll say most of my Genesis collection has been ruined. At least the artwork has. It's changed the way I think about it a little bit. So I'll talk maybe about, well, now I have to talk about that because I said I would. So, pickup video. I went onto a website, actually I got an email from Bree Software, which is a physical store that also happens to sell videos online. And normally when I get these emails telling me about a 50 or a 60% off sale, I'll post it to Facebook. And I always do that after I go through and pick out the games I wanted. But this time it had been pretty well picked over because I didn't notice it until the last day of the sale. But I did find really cheap some games that I didn't have in my collection, which now seems less important, but I have them anyway. And they weren't in the collection at the time. They were sitting on the other side of the room, so they didn't get drenched. And I'll just show you here. A lot of these I picked up because with Bree Software, once you get to a certain level, the cost of shipping doesn't really go up much. Their shipping's kind of high, the shipping and handling. So once you get to a certain point, it becomes cheaper per game to just pick up more games. So bear that in mind as you see some of these. These are all complete. They were all shrink-wrapped, actually. First game is Jeopardy! Sports Edition. I guess I should probably move that closer since the camera's about 8 feet away from me. The second one is Super High Impact Football, and it says something about bone-crushing arcade smash hit. I don't think I want to play a game that crushes my bones. I picked up a copy of Hardball 3, and I should probably just grab all of these, don't mind me. Tom and Jerry Frantic Antics. M1 Abrams Battle Tank. I thought I had this one. I only had it loose though, so I went ahead and picked that up complete. The Jungle Book, which I can't believe I haven't run across complete for cheap yet, but well, now I have. Shaq Fu. This is actually only my second version of Shaq Fu. I have it on the Super Nintendo, and I picked that up sometime last year. That's the first time I'd ever played the game, and I gotta be honest, it's not all that bad, so I'm kind of curious to see if this version is any worse. I don't know, the graphics on the back actually look pretty good. I'm assuming it's the gameplay that's terrible, but we'll give it a shot. I have a feeling it's not as bad as a lot of people say. I have the original Jeopardy! I have a Konami game, Animaniacs. This was a fantastic cartoon in the 90s, even though I think, what year this, I don't know what year the game came out. Even though I was in high school at the time, I still liked Animaniacs. Very good. Some of the music videos they did are still classics. Cyberball. And finally, the reason I bought games on that website that day at all, Outrun. I did not have a copy of this. It actually goes for quite a bit of money. I ended up getting all of these games for, I want to say, $30 shipped, which is quite an accomplishment because I think shipping was $16 or $17 to ship those games. But it is coming from California, though. Along with the Genesis theme, you know what, I'm going to break this up a little bit. We'll go chronologically. We won't even go chronologically. I got those a while ago, so I'm showing you those. I picked up a copy of Mighty Final Fight. I came across it cheap while I was out driving around for work, and I figured for what I paid for it, I couldn't leave it behind. Also, Contra. I picked up at a used video game store complete, and they wanted $25 for it. I walked up to the guy and said, hey, you know, there's some ink on here, and there's ink on the manual inside, and there is. can you knock a little bit off for me? So I ended up getting it for 15 bucks, complete Contra. Sadly, the ink is there to stay, but I don't know. I just couldn't leave a complete Contra behind. It's one of my favorite games from when I was a kid. Where did I get this at? Now we're just going to say I got it with these games because I honestly can't remember. Somewhere I picked up Dragon the Bruce Lee story. I don't remember. It's been so long ago. I'm sure it was cheap though. And then these three games I actually picked up together. And you'll have to look on Facebook. I think I left a comment on Facebook as far as how much I paid for them. I don't remember exactly. I want to say it was $40 for all three of these games, which sounds like a lot for three games, especially for me. But when you see what they are, and you remember the type of games that I love, you'll understand why. I picked up a complete copy of Grindstormer for the Sega Genesis. And we'll put those here. I picked up a complete copy of Android Assault for the Sega CD. And another complete copy for the Sega CD, Robo Aleste. And funny thing is, I want to say that this one was $15, Android Assault was $20, and Grindstormer was $15. I was in the same store yesterday or the day before, and they had another copy of Robo Aleste for the Sega CD in there. They had marked it up to 35 bucks, which is still, I think, a little bit under retail price, but a lot more expensive than what I had bought it for just a couple weeks before. That is all the video gaming stuff that I picked up. Some other stuff that I picked up, hold on a second. I traded in my, well, I don't want to say I traded in. I sold my copy of the El Gato Game Capture HD and picked up instead, for about $20 more than I sold the El Gato for, the Hauppauge HD PVR Rocket. And I fiddled with this just a little bit the other day. It is a really cool little device. And the reason I did that, I loved my Elgato. It was great, but it had to be hooked up to a computer. And that was fine when my old laptop was working, because I could just record to that and move it around. When that died recording a video outside in the dead of winter that you'll see eventually, it became less useful to me. Because now all of my video games and the TV that I play them on are in this corner, and my computer's going to be on the complete opposite side of the room. So I needed something portable. And this will record, it's standalone recorder, records to a USB drive, and I can hook all my retro systems up to it. I was fiddling with it. I actually recorded a little bit of the Atari 2600 the night that I got it through my VCR, and it looks really good. I'm surprised at how good it looks for something that was an RF connection. Also, I was talking to Mike Gardner, and he had just gotten the new camera, and I had noticed it, and I mentioned it, and how good it looked. He was going to check to see if he'd get one. I don't think he could, for me, that is. So I started looking into what I could sell my camera for. And it turns out the camera that I had was pretty sought after, because it was the first in a prosumer line. So I sold that, or actually I'm in the process of selling it, and I picked up the camera that I'm recording here, which is actually a better camera. It has the higher-end CMOS sensor in it, which should, hopefully, record much better in low light and record a better image overall, as a matter of fact. I'm recording with it now. I'm using the full auto settings. I wanted to see what it looked like. There's a whole slew of manual settings that you can go through, and I'm sure I can make the picture look a little better, but this is sort of a test to see how it does. Alright, and then I picked up laser discs. A lot of you guys out there collect laser discs as well. A lot of you would like to collect them, so I figured I'd show them. I haven't found any in a while, at least not any for a reasonable price, so I'm going to show you. I picked up a couple episodes of The Monkees on Laserdisc. I like The Monkees, okay? I watched the television show when I was a kid. I still have, well, I don't know, 4 CDs from The Monkees. And before anybody makes the joke, yes, I do. I have heard that the Beatles patterned themselves after the Monkees. And then I picked up a copy of Leviathan, which, if you haven't seen this, this came out, I believe, around the same time as The Abyss and a movie called Deep Star 6. The Abyss was a James Cameron movie. This was more of a horror take on that kind of story. It stars Peter Weller and some other people I don't know, and a chick with like crazy blue eyes. And it's really interesting. Good underwater, science fiction-y kind of horror movie. Deep Star 6 patterned itself more after this one, and it starred Greg Evigan, who was the star of BJ and the Bear back in the 80s. I picked up another Ray Harryhausen movie, H.G. Wells' First Men on the Moon. Absolutely love Ray Harryhausen. The animation that he does to this day still looks really good. Then, at that same location, these were all on clearance at half-price books. The three that I just showed you and the two that I have in my hand here, those three were $1 a piece. These were $1.99 each, and that was great because it let me complete this collection. I already had Star Wars. I picked up The Empire Strikes Back, and I've got several copies of this. I have the original Laserdisc, then I have a couple of collections. These were basically just rounding it out. Since I already had Star Wars, I figured I'd pick these up for $1.99. These are the THX enhanced versions of the movies. I don't know if you remember when those came out in the 90s, before George Lucas got a hold of them and edited them. So these have been all cleaned up and made pretty, and they sound great, but they haven't been butchered yet and had all those new scenes added in. Also got Return of the Jedi. So now I have all three of them in this version. And people ask why I collect Laserdisc, and honestly, that's the real reason right there. These are just fantastic. So, I don't know, I'm thinking I might, for my own collection, I think I'm allowed to do that, I'm thinking I might use the rocket to rip these onto my PC, and then burn them to DVD to see if my Blu-ray player will upconvert. If anybody's tried that yet, let me know if it works. I want to see just how good these can actually look. Then, I was at an exchange, and exchanges are funny because they'll have something and they'll price it, and if it doesn't sell, what they'll do is they'll mark it down and ship it to another exchange. So I've seen about half of these movies before in other exchanges, and I know that these are the movies because when I removed the stickers, I found old stickers underneath. And for me, that's not a big deal because I travel to all of the exchanges in this area, and there's only a couple of them that have Laserdiscs. So I know when they disappear from one location, I'm going to find them in the other location discounted the next time I'm in there. So I picked up a few movies from there. These were, I don't remember what they were individually, but total they ended up being $6.50. This is a movie I'd never heard of before. Actually, the first two. Beyond the Stars. I've never heard of it. It stars, I don't know, those guys. Christian Slater and Martin Sheen. Ah, look at that. He's right in the front there, Martin Sheen. This is the other one I'd never heard of before, Solar Crisis, starring Tim Matheson, Charlton Heston, Peter Boyle, Annabelle Schofield, Corin Nemec from Stargate, and I think Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and Jack Palance. It's actually, with the exception of Corin Nemec, a pretty all-star cast. And from what Tony, Electric Adventures, tells me, this is the prequel to Sunshine, or I shouldn't say prequel. Sunshine is the sequel to this, and I liked Sunshine, so I'm really excited to see this one. I had no idea that there was a movie before Sunshine. I know that they talked about people that had gone before, but I just assumed that's what they did in the movie. A movie that I knew about but had never seen before, The Prophecy, with Christopher Walken. Who doesn't love an End of Days movie starring Christopher Walken as a bad guy with green eyes? Well, I know I do. I don't know if you do or not. I picked up Independence Day. Now, I already have a copy of Independence Day. Some of you may remember seeing it in a previous video like a year and a half ago. But this is the THX enhanced version, or at least the THX certified version, and I didn't have that one. I had the plain version. So I'm going to keep this one and get rid of the non-THX version. I know that's really weird, but it was like $1 or $1.50. I don't remember which. Then I picked up a copy of Stargate, which I also have, but the one that I have is the non-THX version. This is THX. I'm assuming it probably came from the same collector. And with Independence Day, I'm not going to keep the other version. With this, I am going to keep the other version, because the other version I have, while not the THX version, is the Deluxe Edition. And the Deluxe Edition, it's got a much, I'm not going to take it out of here, but it opens up like the others did. This one does not. And this has additional footage in it. This is the, I guess you'd call it director's cut. It has more footage. Not much of it really makes a huge difference, but I got it. And then a couple of non-sci-fi movies. I got Executive Decision. Honestly, I bought it because it was $1. And I like Kurt Russell. It's not a great movie, but Kurt Russell, I think, is an underrated actor, or at least an actor with underrated abilities. If you've ever seen I think it was called Soldier with Kurt Russell. Or actually, even Stargate with Kurt Russell. He says he is able to emote with his face like very few actors can. And you'll see him in a scene, and he says not a single word. He doesn't even move. All you do is focus on his face, and he can say so much with his eyes. It's amazing. And then finally, Spartacus. If you have to ask why I got Spartacus, you really need to watch more movies. Spartacus is fantastic. So, that's it. That's everything I picked up. Part 2, if I feel like recording it when I'm done with this, will be posted tomorrow. Basically, look in the description if there's a link. I posted the video. If there's not a link, I either haven't posted it yet, or I don't intend to post it. I'm not sure. We'll see. Thanks for watching. See you later.